Some time ago, maybe weeks, maybe months, um, I heard something that was mentioned in one of the videos, and the idea was that philosophy is a luxury, and especially because of my way of living today, this made me wonder and it made me think. So, when it comes to philosophy, um, I think of it, or yeah, when it comes to philosophy, I like to think of it in two parts, right? At least from an individual standpoint, two parts: the philosophizing and the studying of philosophy. And because of those two things, when it comes to philosophy being a luxury, I think there's a little more to, let me see, this got a little dark, but I think in that sense, we can start to see how it might not be necessarily a luxury. And so because of that, that's what we're gonna talk about in this video today. I wanna find a nice little spot to sit down, chill, relax, and look. Perfect little spot right there for me to sit on that rock. This will be good here. So, like I was saying, there's two things, all right? The you philosophizing, doing the philosophizing yourself, or the you studying philosophy, maybe studying philosophers and other ideas and the details to those ideas so that they help, so that you understand more somebody else's thought about life, existence, and our experience and that kind of stuff. When it comes to philosophy being a luxury, I think that what is referred to is that philosophy is something so dense and it does require a lot of time. And time is something that maybe somebody who has more money will have, somebody who has more money that manages themselves well, because obviously if you have a lot of money but you don't manage yourself well, then also you're going to be up and down all over the place. Like if I mean, you have more money, but the quality of your life hasn't changed much, right? And in that sense, maybe that person could not go into philosophy and philosophize or study philosophy, or because it's too dense, right? Now, here's the thing, okay? When it comes to philosophizing yourself, well, that's something that you can do all the time. Um, I was listening to a documentary of Jean-Paul Sartre where they were telling him about how if you do phenomenology, you can do philosophy about the glass of wine that is in front of you. And that's a very interesting thing. But what what this drives, what this thought drives in me to further thinking is we can literally philosophize about life all the time, about the things that are surrounding us, questioning a little bit more, realizing that these leaves are not just simply leaves, but, you know, like I've said in the other video, there's more to it, right? But see, that part, we can actually do it, and it doesn't require necessarily that extra time all the time. But when philosophy gets difficult, excuse me, I need some water. But when philosophy gets difficult is when you're starting to study philosophy. Like I've started looking closely into philosophy now, and like it's dense. It takes time taking notes and studying all this stuff. So in that sense, philosophy could be a luxury, and it's unfortunate. Here's why it's unfortunate that it is the case. And I'm not saying that philosophy is a luxury. That's not what I'm stating. In fact, I'm trying to figure out here if it is a luxury or if it's not a luxury. Because of the way I live today, this has made me think a lot now. Because I've had the time, I have a little more time that I can grab my time and put it here instead, and I choose to put in some time into philosophy and studying philosophy and doing those kinds of things. And I'm realizing that it does take time. But now I have that time, and I'm not rich. I simply live in a bus. I live in a 50% done schoolie RV, however you want to call it, but it's not even done. However, I feel like the quality of my life has changed. You know, and I don't have all the money to say I have, I have the time now, or I can take my time now since I have all this money to focus on learning about life. No. But see, here's the thing. The majority of us live in a way where we have to be at a specific spot every single day. We have to dedicate so much, absurdly so much time to work so that we can make money for the next thing, so that we can make money for the other stuff, that we don't get a chance to study the fundamental things about life. And for me, these kinds of things are important, and because how can I experience life if I don't even know what life is? How can I live if I don't know what it means to be alive? And that might be subjective, but for many of us, we don't even know what makes us feel alive because we're so constantly focused on the work, so that I can pay my apartment, especially today with how things are, We get so caught up in that, and it doesn't give us a chance to study these fundamental questions of life that take time. You know how hard it is? I used to work at a pallet repair shop where we would repair pallets, and I would grab and move around nearly 1,000 pallets almost every day, and it gets exhausting, okay? It gets so exhausting. And let me tell you, after 10 hours of that, to go home and say, I'm gonna go and just dig into some fucking, like you're studying the Republic, like, sometimes the physical exhaustion really gets so far that it makes it difficult for you to mentally dig into something as dense as philosophy is. Here's why I think this is very, very unfortunate. And in fact, this is why I'm making this video. Because when it comes to philosophy, I feel like philosophy has certain understanding of things that can help so many people in life to lead a much better life. But it does take a lot of questioning, right? It takes a lot of digging, not staying just with the surface of things. It takes a lot of that. But I feel like humanity can get to work towards a more creative future rather than one that's constantly trying to produce and make more money. Humanity can get to a point where we stop doing the things that we so much need and focus on those things that fill us up with life and that kind of stuff, rather than just constantly focus on the money of things. Get a more creative world. But it's hard to get that when the people around us don't even know the kinds of things they like. They're acting on autopilot most of the time. They're being reactionists rather than somebody who takes more conscious decisions. But we could get to that. And I feel like a creative world would lead to a much, I think it would go to a better place. But as far as we see it today, we're stuck in this constant grind that doesn't allow us to think, that doesn't allow us to question certain things. They pay terribly. It's not cool. Meanwhile, some people are getting the riches. And for me, like, look, philosophy can be a luxury in the sense of only those who are capable of dedicating the time to study and learn philosophy and philosophize themselves can do it. In that sense, yes. But it's not a luxury in the sense that only the rich can philosophize or study philosophy. Because I'm not rich. I can say that old saying that I'm rich in life, right? I'm broke but I'm rich, or I don't fucking know. There's so many ways to say that fucking thing. But I think it comes to the quality of life. It comes to the quality of life. And I don't have much, but living like this has made me see that maybe in some sense philosophy is a luxury, but in another sense we could start doing some of that ourselves and The rest, do our best, because I get it. You gotta go pay your apartment, so and you gotta take care of your family. I'm sure there's some very critical things that could happen if you stop work, and now we're caught in this fucking trap. And unfortunately, because of that, we don't necessarily take the time to ask the fundamental questions about life, learn about the fundamental things about ourselves that could help us lead ourselves a little more accordingly to our desires, what we want, and even a little more congruent with the actual features that complete your essence or being, if you want to call it that. It is important that we take some time for that. But I do understand why people don't do it. And it's just sad, but that's because of the kind of world that we live in today, where we're constantly trying to produce and constantly looking for the Friday in the week so that we can finally stop working. And shit, Monday came back. I was tired of it, and that's why I made this move. And it has helped me a lot. It's just coming from a position where I used to work a lot and, constantly just trying to figure out a way to make money. Like, I got laid off from a job, I would go on to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. I was like already on that, like that was life, But I eventually started feeling like, okay, this isn't life. This isn't life. It really wasn't. But I really feel like especially with technology coming up today, the human race can take care of those things that are necessities, air quotes necessities, for the human race, and then maybe focus a little more on the creative side of the humans. Maybe people will live happier, because maybe through creativity we can express a little more of our inner thoughts and inner ideas. How many people right now are not expressing shit, and they're just reacting. The rent got up, reacting. Gotta go work more, reacting. All this. And some people getting kicked out of the apartments because they can't afford it. It's the world that we live in, guys. Fuck. And maybe sometimes it's easier to stay ignorant, isn't it? It might be. I'll see you guys on the next video.